Hi guys, welcome back to another video of Design System Masterclass. In the previous video, we have created buttons. We have created primary, secondary and tertiary buttons, and we have created different states of buttons, and we have also created different modes of button. In this video, we will be creating toggle, checkbox and radio. Uh, these are toggles, this is checkbox, and this is radio buttons. So we'll be creating these, and first we will be discussing where and what toggle is and where toggle are used. Toggle is used to activate or deactivate or switch on or off something on the app or product. So let's discuss with this examples. For example, this is some motivation app. If you want a day motivation, you can turn on it. If you want an evening motivation, you can turn on it. And if you don't want the morning motivation, you can turn off it. This is one example, and this is Perplexity app, where you can turn on the sources, which source the AI wants to search. Here, the web is turned on, academic is turned off, and social is turned on. And uh, this is the famous feature for every single SaaS application or mobile app. There will be a notification turn on or turn off thing. So you can easily turn on, turn off notifications and the type of notifications you can turn on and turn off. And let's create these toggle in our file. So we'll be creating different states. Default state, let's enlarge it. Default state, hover state, and active state, disabled state, and focus state. So we'll be creating these 5 states. So let's create the toggle. Let's take a frame, and this should be not this big. Let's take 20, and this should be 28. Or let's say let's take only 24, and this should be, let's say, 18. Right? And let's fill it with some color, like let's say gray 100. Let's increase this size to, let's say, 32 maybe. Yeah, 32 looks good. And let's add radius as full. It should be fully rounded, right? And let's add a square to this, and let's add radius fully rounded, and let's align it properly so that it has 2 pixels all sides, and let's give it a color gray 900. So this is default state. This is default state. Let's give it this default state, right? And we need to create overstate, over, and this should be one shade dark. And let's create focused, and it should be default, and let's add in FX, let's add focus state, right? And this is active, and let's take this, and let's take this to the right, and let's give it gray 0, and let's give this as gray 900. And let's take disabled, let's take this, and give appearance as 60% so that it looks disabled. And let's duplicate all of these and let's give 36 as width and 24 as height. Let's say 22. And let's select all of these and enlarge it so that it is 2 pixels on all sides, right? 2 pixels on all sides. This size will be small and this will be default size. Let's select all of these and go to component and create component set, and let's call it as toggle, and these all are size will be small and these all are default, right? And let's add another property, another variant called state. This is default and this is hover and this is focused and this is active and this is disabled, right? So let's fill this with gray 0 and let's see if it is working in the dark mode as well. Yes, it's working in the dark mode. So let's create an example. Let's say turn on privacy mode, right? Let's add subtext. This will be regular. You can see anything in privacy mode, right? Let's give it gray 900 and let's give it gray, let's say 600 maybe, and let's give this spacing as maybe 4. Let's add auto layout. Let's give the spacing as maybe 8 and this should be UG, and let's say this spacing as 16 and this spacing as 16, and let's fill it with gray 0 and let's add stroke of gray 200 maybe, and let's add radius as 16. So this is one example and you can easily switch between dark and light mode, right? So yeah, that is it for the toggle, and let's go to checkbox and create this. So for checkbox, let's take examples. Let's discuss examples first. So checkbox is basically used to when there is a multi-select answer. So for example, in this filters job type, there can be different job types the users are looking for. So using checkbox is the correct option here and recommended for you. There are multiple recommendations for the user, and using checkbox is a very good option as a UX. And pay salary can be paid or unpaid internships. So the user might look for both. So using checkbox is the good option here. And in this example, this app helps to sell, buy, and rent a home. So if user is looking for rent and buy a home, they can select both. And this option is like what brings, this is a paid app. So there can be multiple user goals. So using checkbox is relevant here. So let's create checkbox like this with different states. So there can be different states. One is default, hover, uh, intermediate, active, disabled, and focus. So for checkbox, intermediate is the state. So there can be stacked checkbox, there can be hierarchical checkboxes, so that intermediate state is mandatory for checkbox. So let's create checkbox. Let's create this as 22 maybe, and fill it with gray 0. And let's give gray 100 as a stroke, right? And let's give radius 4 maybe. Yeah, 4 looks good. And this is default state. This is default state. And let's add gray 100 for over. Let's add stroke as gray 200. Yeah, gray 100 as over state. Over. And let's add this focus state. Let's remove and add gray 0. This will be focus. And let's fill it with gray 900. And let's remove stroke. And let's bring the stick mark here. And this will be active, right? And if it's intermediate, this will be the dash icon. This will be intermediate. And we can create disabled state, something like this. You can take default or active state for disabled to create disabled. Let's give 60% as. And let's take copy all. And let's give maybe 28. Yes. So this will be small size, and this will be default size, right? And let's create component set, and let's fill it with gray 0, and let's name the component. Let's name the components. This will be size, that is small, and this will be default. And we need to add another variant called state. This will be power, and this will be focus. It is very similar to create a toggle, checkbox, and radio button. That's why I've added everything in one video. This is intermediate, and this is disabled. So when you see this, you can easily switch between each variants. Let's create an example. Let's say Option 1, let's give different font, and let's say it as caption small. Option 1, let's give spacing as 8 pixels. Option 2, option 3, let's give this as active, and let's add auto layout, and let's give this spacing 16. Let's give width as UG. Let's give spacing 16, and let's fill it with gray 0, and stroke will be gray 100, and radius will be, let's say, 20. And you can easily switch between light and dark. So there is one problem here. So we need to change these colors to our color gray 0, right? You can instantly see the reaction here, and this should be gray 900 in dark mode and gray 0 in light mode. You can easily switch between light and dark. So that is it for checkbox. Let's go to radio button. So this is radio button. We need to create these. Before that, we need to discuss what is radio button. Radio button is used when there is a single correct option. So for example, in this Airbnb example, why you are deactivating the account. So there may be multiple reasons for, but you can only choose one, right? And if you choose other, there will be an input box asking for the reason. And this is also same why you're reporting this listing. There can be one reason, and for any app, the sort functionality should only have one option. That there shouldn't be multiple select. So yeah, let's create the radio button. So there is one trick. So if you're creating a checkbox as width 22 into 22 for small and default 28 into 28, you need to create same for radio button. So 22. So let's zoom in. Let's give gray 0 as fill and stroke gray 200. And let's give radius full so that it is fully rounded. This is default. This is default. And the next one is overstate. The fill should be, let's say, gray 100. And let's say this is focus. Let's give gray 0, FX, and focus state. And let's say the other one is active. So active, you need to in circle, and let's move this, and let's give 900, and stroke should also be gray 900, right? And other one is disable. So we need to do these and go 60%. And you need to create another variant, another size, let's say 28, and you need to adjust these to 24. So this will be small size and this will be default size. So let's create a component set and let's name it accordingly. The size will be small. This is size and this will be default. And let's add this as radio and let's create another variant called state. Power, focus, active, disabled, right? So let's fill it with gray 0 and see if it's working in dark and light mode. Let's same example. I think its frame is too rounded. Right? So let's take this one and add here, and should be only one active option. So yeah, that is for today. We have discussed how to create toggle, to create checkbox, how to create radio buttons. So that's it for today. Hope you got some value out of this video. Do subscribe for more content like this and see you in the next